Hey everybody, welcome to my first YouTube video. Um, my name's Joseph. I'm a truck driver, have been for almost 4 years now. I've been driving trucks off and on for about, well, not off and on, been driving trucks pretty steady for about 4 years. I decided, everyone else is doing it, I wanted to try my hand at making a YouTube video. I'm not going to stick to one subject on all my videos. Some of my videos may be about motorcycles, maybe about driving trucks, maybe about just anything I may want to ramble about, I may do reviews, I may do something, like how to, like oil changes, stuff like that on motorcycles, etc., etc. And we'll go from there. Let's set this right here. As you see, I'm not driving nowhere. I'm sitting still. I'm back to the dock waiting to be unloaded. So, I'm probably going to title this video, So You Think You Want to Drive a Truck, Things You Should Know Before You Do It. Let me go ahead and say driving a truck's not for everybody. Different people get into it for different reasons. Some people, they retire. I've seen people that have retired from regular jobs and decided, that looks like it'd be pretty cool to do. I think I could do it. I have no family, my kids are grown, etc., etc. So they take CDL school, drive trucks, and they make a good retirement living. It really is a decent living. Because you don't have to have but a high school diploma to do it. I'm not even sure you have to have the high school diploma to do it. But anyway, most of your starting salary for truck drivers, for beginners, and once they get out of school and get in their own trucks after they go through the training, is about, I would say 42, 45, 47,000 a year, depending on what kind of company you go with, what kind of field you get into, because there's different fields. There's van, there's refrigerated, there's flatbed, then there's specialty, and then there's a whole plethora of driving jobs out there. I've mainly done dry van. I've done a couple of refrigerated runs before. So now, as far as the idea of driving a truck, it's pretty straightforward. When it comes to the basics, as in you use a steering wheel to dictate which direction the truck goes, etc. But there's a lot more that goes into it, a lot more concentration. You have like 6 mirrors at any given point in time you have to keep an eye on. You have to keep an eye on them for cars on your side, etc. But anyway, let's get into things you should probably know. It's because, okay, maybe you're out of a job, maybe you lost your job, maybe you got laid off. There's not a lot. Like myself, kind of had to get into it because you didn't have nothing else to do. You didn't have any marketable skills, marketable trades, so you thought, I'll drive a truck. Well, for me, my family drives trucks, or drove trucks. So I already kind of knew what to expect. For those of you that don't know what to expect, you're not going to, 95% of the time, you're not going to get your CDLs in school and go straight to work running a day cab like this is. This has no sleepers, it's got a back glass, it's a day cab, which means I'm home every night. Most time you're not going to jump right into that. Most time you're going to have to go with a larger company that sponsors CDL training, and then you're going to sign like usually like a 1-year contract, or you work with them for a year, and that's going to require you to usually run 2 weeks at a time and be home 2 days. So roughly you'll get a day off for every week you're out on the road, most cases. But so you decide you want to drive a truck, you're trying to research, you're trying to figure out what to do. So you pick your company, you've talked to a recruiter. The recruiter's going to tell you, oh yeah, it'll be like a working vacation. You get to travel the country, see things. Half true. You do get to see some beautiful places, some beautiful scenery. I myself have been on both coasts. I've been out in the Rocky Mountains. And it's some beautiful scenery, beautiful sights. But I've been by the Grand Canyon twice, and neither time could I get close enough to stop and take it in. And that was been like within an hour drive of the Grand Canyon. So you don't really get, it's not really quote unquote a vacation. Yeah, you get to see some beautiful sights, but the recruiters take everything a recruiter says with a grain of salt. What you should expect is you're going to go to a CDL school, either a company-owned, company-sponsored CDL school, or maybe you can pay out of pocket to go to one yourself. It's going to be 4 to 6 weeks on the yard, learning skills. They'll help you get your learner's permit. They'll teach you backing and all the maneuvers your state requires. Every state's a little different. Some states require you to be able to parallel parkour, and some states don't. So once you've done that, you either go to the company that's paid for your CDL school, or you find a company that will take you fresh out of school. And depending on the company, you can expect 4 to, I think in some cases, 8 weeks on a truck with a trainer. Now what this is going to mean is you're going to be living in the truck with another person. Now, I already confined space for one person, but you're going to stick 2 people with well, not all their clothes, but probably enough clothes for each of them to have a week's worth of clothes, or at least 5 days, because you're going to have to do laundry. But your trainer's going to have a lot more stuff in his truck because he lives in that truck all the time, almost. So he's going to have his TV, he may have his coffee maker, he may have his microwave, he may even have a refrigerator or a cooler. So whenever you get in that truck, you got to remember that's his home. So you'll have your stuff, which the recruiters and the company will tell you to bring about 5 days worth of clothes, a sleeping bag, because nobody wants you to sleep on top of their sheets. They don't know you. You're a complete stranger. And you're going to be in that truck for 4, 6, 8 weeks, sometimes straight through. No time back at home. You may do your 34-hour resets out on the road. Some companies will put you out on a train with 4 weeks, bring you in, they'll let you go home for a week, and then they'll bring you back and put you with a different trainer for the last remaining 4 weeks. Now, the reason all this is important because you have to be able to adapt, because not everybody gets along with everybody. Not everybody is going to be able to get along with you, or you vice versa, you get along with them. So, and companies tell you that if you're a non-smoker, they try to put you with a non-smoking driver, and vice versa. I'm a non-smoker, and I got stuck with a smoker my first time out. I dealt with it for about a week or 2. Now let me tell you, anytime if you get a trainer and he's doing anything unsafe, like I got a trainer that he liked to watch videos going down the road on his phone, and I caught footage of it, and yes, I turned his ass in. They found me another trainer to finish my training. So you're going to be on a truck with a guy for 4 to 8 weeks. We'll say 4 to 8 weeks. And in that 4 to 8 weeks time, he's not going to be able to teach you everything you need to know in this industry. He's going to teach you enough to where you'll be able to deliver, or he should teach you enough to where you should be able to deliver your first solo load with minimum issue. In other words, you may have a few questions about this or that, but you should have the understanding. In other words, he should teach you how to run your e-logs. He should teach you, hold on, that just reminded me. He should teach you how the logs work, how to use them. He should let you use them and walk you through it. He should teach you about sliding your tandems, bridge laws. He should teach you how to use a map. He should teach you how to use your paper logs just in case that e-log goes down. there's a lot of trainers that are just out there to get the extra money for training students and do very little quote unquote training. So if you get a trainer and you ask him questions, he's like, don't worry about that, you'll figure it out. No. Make sure he's teaching you. I mean, you will always learn stuff in this career. You'll learn new techniques almost every day, or you'll see someone do something. Hey, I ain't never thought about doing it that way. Maybe I should try that. But if you get a good trainer, pay attention to what he's teaching you. If you're a family man, you got kids, you're going to sacrifice time with your kids to do this job. I've missed birthdays. I've missed a couple of holidays. I've missed seeing my son's first steps. I didn't want to, but I had bills to pay. I had responsibilities. So don't think you're going to get into this and go with a big company and, I'm going to be home every week or every 2 weeks, or I'm going to be home every other weekend, because you may not. They can't promise you that. Most of these big companies that will sponsor your training, they're going to want you to run OTR for at least a month before you can even get on a dedicated account to be home every weekend, or every other weekend specifically. I got lucky. I ran OTR for about 4 months, and I got onto a Georgia Pacific account where I was home for a 34-hour reset every weekend. That worked out great. And that's mostly what I've done since I've started driving. Now, there's some guys out there driving 10, 20, 30, 40 years, OTR, they love it. Couldn't imagine anything better. I got a friend that started driving when I did. He loves it. He got into it after the drywall business fell through years ago. He loves it. I mean, he absolutely loves it. He lives in his truck. His kids are grown. He goes back and sees his grandkids a couple times a year, but he loves it. Some people love it. And on the other hand, I've seen guys that didn't really know what they were getting into. They thought they would get out here on this road, and every truck stop they'd stop at, they'd go hang out and sit in the lounge and talk for 3, 4, 5 hours. You can't do that. You got to get sleep, because sometimes your loads are like that. You have to sleep when you have to sleep. So it's not for everybody. I think almost anybody can, I think almost anybody can be trained to do this job. I really do. It's not a hard job to do. And, but it is one of those things that you have to be a certain personality. You have to understand that you have to make sacrifice. You're going to have to do things you don't like. You're going to get irritated with shippers and receivers, because some of these shippers and receivers don't care about your time, your clock, or that you got another load to pick up in 10 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever. And you'll check in, they'll give you a 5 o'clock appointment. You'll get there at 5 o'clock. You may not get unloaded till 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock. I've had that happen. I set it a receiver 10 hours one time. I got a 10-hour break-in. Good thing about that, I got paid for a few hours of setting. You should watch how you eat. God knows I've put on 30 pounds since I started driving, because I haven't watched what I eat. You can't sit in this driver's seat and snack all day long. It don't work that way, because 9 times out of 10 you're going to gain weight. If you're a smoker, you will end up smoking more in this job. I've seen guys that started driving, only smoked a pack a day. Now they smoke 2 packs a day, because all they have to do is sit here and just hold the steering wheel, smoke. So you have to be, I guess, mentally prepared for this line of work. But it's not a bad job. It's not a bad career. There's people out there that make careers of this. Me, I make between 47 and 52,000 a year right now. I could make more, but I like to be home. You know, it's took me a few years to get to the point where I could be home. Drivers that are home daily are going to make less than OTR drivers because companies figure that you're home daily, so that's a trade-off for the lesser pay. Trying to get someone to unload me because I hadn't felt them in the dock yet. Like for example, right now, I'm doing this because I'm killing time. Because I've been here 30 minutes at least waiting for them to unload this truck. Well, I've been at this location for 30 minutes. I've been in the dock about 5 minutes longer than this video is. But you know, I back to the dock. I'm waiting for someone to come unload. Now I'm where I'm going to end my day at. They're going to unload this trailer. I'm going to drive right up here on top of this little hill here and unhook from the empty trailer, and I'm going to bobtail around to the other side of the building, park the truck, get in my car, and I'm going to go home. My fiance wanted me home more, you know, and that's something else. You know, if your family has an emergency crisis and you're in this line of work and you're OTR and you're out in Texas and they say, hey, you need to get here, you can't get there right away. You can call your dispatcher will do a good dispatcher will do his damnedest to get you where you need to be as quickly as he can. But you still got that DOT clock to worry about. And truck driving school will explain to you a little bit more how that clock works. But, you know, it's just something that isn't for everybody. But I don't know, I just thought I could enlighten everyone as to how it really works somewhat. What to look for, do's, don'ts, you know. Don't go into it thinking you're a know-it-all, thinking you can do it. I don't care if you were the best driver in the CDL school. I don't care if you were the best at backing up. You did the same maneuver every day. You get out here, there is no same maneuver all the time. You go to different places, and different places have different amount of room. So when you get in that truck with the trainer after you get your CDLs and you go through your orientation and all that, and get in the truck with a trainer, go into it with an open mind. Go into it learning. Don't go in there with an arrogant mindset that you already know everything because you've been through school, blah blah blah. You know, you're just doing this so you can get your own truck and roll. Don't do that. But anyway, I think that's where I'm going to end this video. Maybe some people will watch it, maybe some people won't. Who knows, you know. But with that, y'all have a good evening or a good afternoon. Later.